So this is the intruder, then. Let me get a better look at them. Bring them here. You don't look like you're one of our enemy's spies. How did you find this place? This is not an easy location to just stumble upon. We haven't had anyone just accidentally find this place in over 1,000 years. So, your story about a shipwreck doesn't really make sense. These lands are protected by powerful magic. That's interesting. Because you see, even if you didn't set out intentionally to do all of this, to find us, we have enemies who work in the shadows. And they are more than willing to use other people as pawns just to find out any little bit of information they can find to use as leverage against us. I do believe you're being honest, but that doesn't change the fact that you could have been used by them. Constitution, where do you think you are right now? The United Nations doesn't even know we exist. And none of that applies here. None of it. What sort of ship were you on with someone so well versed in geopolitics is the only survivor of a shipwreck? Well, no mortal has set foot here in 1,000 years. It's a very long time, and people don't just stumble here by accident. So, even if you were not intentionally heading this way, someone wanted you to come here. You do seem honest. I will admit you do seem very honest. And I am sorry that my guards treated you a little roughly. In fact, I don't think those robes are necessary, so if we can just get them taken off, please. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the warrior queen of this land, and it's my responsibility to keep this land safe and secure. Because we have many enemies. If I had to give us some sort of name, I suppose the best one I could think of would probably be isolationist. Yes, definitely. But you have piqued my curiosity. Because what sort of vessel shipwrecks and leaves only someone versed in politics alive? That's something to discuss over dinner, perhaps. You shouldn't look so surprised. We may be suspicious of outsiders, but we're also a very generous host. How long were you on the beach before the guards found you? Do you have any idea? The looks of your clothing, your skin, you were not out in the sun for very long. Well, the thing is, There's a lot of... how should I put this? There's a lot of intense radiation here. And short exposure to sunlight, for those who are not used to it, can have some negative effects. So knowing how long you were there could help us in assessing your health before anything goes wrong. Threaten you? I had them take the ropes off. I stand before you, queen of this land, unarmed, as a gesture of good faith, and you accuse me of threatening you? And perhaps I was too hasty in determining that you had no part in your arrival here. Perhaps I should take things a little more slowly. If you would like to explain, I'm very much willing to listen. Let's hear what you have to say over a meal, shall we? Why would I not feed you? You're lost, you're without supplies, and although I have doubts about the reason why you were sent on that ship, I sense no deception from you. Consider it a gift of sorts. But since you mean no harm, you are simply a lost traveler in need of help. And you may have noticed while you were being brought here, well, the rest of my people are very curious about you. Well, how would they not be? We haven't seen any outsiders in 1,000 years. They're going to have a lot of questions. They're curious what it means. How did someone get here? A lot of the questions I had for you, they also have. And any answer that I can give them, or, well, I guess more accurately, any answer you can give me to give them, would help. Well, there are not only enemies outside of this land, there are enemies within it also, who plot, who scheme. And honestly, it's a headache being the ruler of this land sometimes. Not that I regret it, but I've never heard that before. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Very, very apt. Ah, here comes the meal. And you're welcome to sit right here. Well, how could I ask you questions if you're on the other end of the room? Of course you have to sit next to me. Well, it is the seat of honor, and you would be the guest of honor today. Oh, I certainly understand. But we can address that later. That ship that you say wrecked, we found no evidence of a shipwreck. Now, I'm not sure how else you would have gotten here without a ship, so perhaps you can give me some information about it. What sort of wood was it made of? How many masts did it have? Things like that. Metal? How can a ship made of metal float on the water? No, I don't believe you're lying to me. I sense no deception, but I do not understand. Metal is heavy, metal sinks. Wood is light, wood floats. How do you make a ship, a heavy ship, that floats? Okay, well, if you are not an engineer who designs ships, what were you? What are you? No, I'm just wondering. There was no sign of a ship, no sign of crewmates, only you, alone and unconscious on the beach. Now, forgive my suspicions, but it sounds like you were placed there so that we would find you. Alright, well, let's not worry about that then for now. I have some of my guards out, looking for any sort of evidence. Out there? You. Why did you join the crew of this ship? Why did you set sail? Atlantis. Well, now that is interesting. I thought the outsiders had given up on finding Atlantis. But you know, the funny thing is, Atlantis is our closest trading partner. They're very much real. But just like us, they found it better to hide from the outside world. So you went looking for them and wound up here instead. That does make sense. I let you leave? No, I'm sorry, I can't do that. If you raise your voice to me again, I will have you sent to the dungeons. My first responsibility is to my people. And if you were sent here, even by accident, and I allow you to return, the people who were so interested in Atlantis would certainly be interested in us too. And I cannot allow that. I will make your stay here as comfortable as I possibly can. But I can't put my people at risk. I won't. I hope you understand that. I would much rather keep you as a guest. And ask you more questions about this outside world and how things have changed over these years. They make ships out of metal now. What else have you created? Well, there will be plenty of time to discuss these things. You have my word on that. As long as you don't pose a threat. Now tell me more of this radar system. What is it? What does it do? How does it work? Hello everyone, Star here, and thank you for listening. So this was roughly inspired by, as I'm sure all of you know, all of you figured out in the in the comments when I posted the picture, this was very much inspired by the idea of Wonder Woman. And I'm sitting here and I actually realize I don't have that much more to say, which is unusual for me. Well, then I'll keep this one short. Thank you for every view and everything. You know, the same old spiel. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all so much. And, I'm gonna end it here and go off and record another video. So goodbye for now. Mwah.